Yeah. Is this being recorded, by the way? Is this being recorded? It's being filmed? Do you want me? Okay, he'll use a microphone.
Thank you for the information. It was great, and appreciate you sharing that with us, and look forward to being able to use that. I did one question, though, was you mentioned the mosques that were built in 632 and various stages. What's the history behind those? What were they being built for? If Muhammad and the Quran hadn't come into place yet, the history behind all that, why were these mosques popping up?
Okay, good question. The question is, what are you going to do with Guangzhou, a mosque in 630? What are you going to do with the Medina, the two Qibla mosque, which is 624? What are you going to do with these mosques so early? Is what you're getting at. Remember, what was Petra before the Muslims took over it? It was the Nabatean sanctuary. So these would all be Nabatean temples that had been taken over by the Muslims, who then made them into their own mosques. A mosque means a place where you bow down. That's what a mosque is. It's a masjid. It's a place to bow down. And therefore, it was created by these early ones. The ones before the Muslims took them over would have been temples to the Nabatean gods. And what's interesting, take a look at the Nabatean gods. Who is the primary Nabatean god? His name is Allah. That's a Nabatean god. Isn't that interesting? Allah has a wife, Alat, which is the feminine form of Allah. The other name for Alat is Aluza. Have you heard that name? Alat, Aluza, and Al-Manat. Take a look at the Quran, Surah 53, Ayah 19 and 20. These are the satanic verses. These are the three goddesses that are mentioned in the Quran itself. These are Nabatean goddesses. Now, I read in my Quran, in Surah 6, Ayah 101, that God cannot have a consort. Then what's he doing with Alat, his consort? Ooh, I love this. Makes my job a lot easier. Which means this Allah, this supposed Nabatean God from which all these people are praying to, is a borrowed God, but they got the wrong God. They should have never used Allah. Because Allah is not only a pagan God, he is a polytheistic God. He has a wife named Alat and Al-Uzza, which proves to me he cannot be the God we're looking for. Therefore, what and who is Muhammad? And what you've noticed today, we're not only confronting the God of Islam, Allah, we're also confronting the man of the Islam, Muhammad. Because after everything you've heard today and what you're going to hear tomorrow, those who were at the debate yesterday, the ones who were here yesterday, did you hear what we did with the manuscripts? We've pretty well destroyed any notion that the Quran existed before the 8th century. And if the Quran it doesn't exist until the 8th century, then who in the world is Muhammad? And what's his purpose? And in one fell swoop, we're destroying Allah, Muhammad, and the Quran all at once. And without Allah, Muhammad, and the Quran, what is Islam? Ooh, I love it. And that's why these are good questions, but remember, it all fits to the historical record. And that's why the documentary evidence fits the archaeological evidence. Tomorrow we're going to see it also fits the manuscript evidence. It's all fitting to one piece. And that's why I would say these mosques were temples, which then became mosques, but they're all facing Petra, the Nabatean kingdom, where Allah comes from.
Didn't they find some Qurans that were actually too early?
Okay, the question is, did they find some Qurans that were actually too early? And this is called and we can talk more about it tomorrow, but this is what the folios, the Birmingham folios. The date on those folios, there's just 2 pages. They actually come from the Petropolitanus manuscript, which is in Paris, in the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris. Those 2 folios were dated from 568 to 645, so it's a 77-year period because it's carbon dating, which is very inexact. If it's 568 to 645, you've got a real problem. Because when this was ballyhooed last July all over the internet, they didn't stop to think what they were saying. And many Muslims did not say anything. Did you notice? A lot of Muslims were quiet. Because how can you have 2 folios of a manuscript from Surah 18, 19, and 20 that are from 2 years before Muhammad was even born, and then existed 7 years before the Quran was even written? Ooh, You've got a problem. But that's not the only carbon datings that they've done. They're now dating also the Sana manuscript. And the dates they're getting that are 443 to 543. That's the 5th and 6th century. That's long before Muhammad was born, long before Islam began, and certainly long before the Quran was written. Ooh, I love this. So it looks like these are pre-Islamic, pre-Quranic texts. They are Quranic in that they are very similar to what we have in the Quran. But look at the stories that they include. Surah 18, 19, and 20 include the story of Dual Karnain, who is Alexander the Great. They include also the seven sleepers, and they also include the story of Moses, which does come from the Bible, but not the same stories we have in the Bible. These are apocryphal writings. These are sectarian writings. These we know well of because the Quran is full of them. And it's these writings that you find in these folios. Now, let me just say, however, be careful of carbon dating. I have a feeling that most of these dates are wrong because they're all over the place. The fact that they're so early and that they are not consistent. I would suggest that as more time has been put into them, they're probably going to find that these carbon datings are not correct. And therefore, I would go with the paleographical and the codicological discoveries. Those are much more exact. We'll talk more about those tomorrow because the paleographical studies that are being done on the Quran are much more exact. And that's why we're going to go with those dates. Nonetheless, either way, Muslims have it wrong because this means the Quran existed long before Muhammad. Muhammad had nothing to do with it. And the paleographical studies say the Quran existed long after Muhammad. Muhammad had nothing to do with it. So either way, Muhammad had nothing to do with it. We got him coming and going. Any other questions? Last question? Yeah, we do need to get to the next person. Those who have questions, just see me. If you want this PowerPoint, come get it from me and talk to me later and we'll give it to you.
Jay, there are many people that question, such as Tori, about why the name Islam was chosen. And in Arab poetry, as well as the earliest copies of translations of the gospel, the word Islam and the verb always are used to mean to betray, to deliver over, to hand over. And the verb form itself is used repeatedly for what Judas Iscariot did to Jesus. And the stuff that you presented about the Dome on the Rock fits in very well with this idea that the word Islam means betrayal as opposed to submission.
Good man. Wow, I've not heard that before. Who are you? Yes, Adam, that's a very good. Did you all catch that? So it is betrayal, the root, every Arabic word has three-letter root, the consonantal root. And so you're saying that is betrayal. It's not submission or subservience. It is betrayal, which is what we seem to be finding with the Dome of the Rock. We'll go with that. We'll see how much we can come with it, and we'll ask certainly the other scholars and see if that works. Thanks a lot, Adam, for that. God bless you, people. If you want to see me more, come and see me, and we'll give you the PowerPoint so you can have it.